Greetings, fellow dungeon delvers, and welcome to Dorans and Dragons, where we work together to come up with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition builds for your favorite League of Legends champions. We're back from the new year with a renewed spirit and hope you had a great holiday in these crazy times. I wanted to give everyone a heads up that starting next week, we're going to be going through a 5-episode trial of a new style for these videos that's much more compact and focuses intently on the champion and what we need for them, rather than breaking down each and every feature we get along the leveling path. The goal of this trial is to gather feedback on the new format, and if it's well received, I think we'll be able to increase our videos to 2 a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So keep an eye out for that next week, and be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts. Today we're building Soraka, the Starchild. Soraka, like Tyrael before her, was a celestial who could no longer sit idly by and watch the chaos of mortality from above. She fell willingly, to attempt to help the young species of Runeterra see the greater cosmic goals of the universe and help them along that predetermined path. But being among the mortals changed Soraka. With perspective, she realized what she initially saw as a divergence from the celestial pattern was actually a stark improvement that allowed for the untold potential of mortality to achieve more than was expected of them. Upon this realization, Soraka decided to inspire and guide her people to reach the heights of that unseen potential, rather than try and force them down the path the Celestials had determined for them. She's seen the best and worst of mortal kind, and learned the importance of choice and free will. Soraka won't save someone against their will, but she'll never stop trying to help those who ask for it. Before we get started with the build, go ahead and like the video and hit that subscribe button so you're always notified when we release our builds. We'd like to thank one of this month's Doran's Blade patrons, Spectral. Thank you so much for your support, it means a lot to us. Spectral chose Soraka to build as part of the rewards for our Blade Tier patrons. Speaking of Blade Tier rewards, this month's homebrew is Discover the First Lands, based on Ionia. We're releasing last month's homebrew, The Toxic Slum, onto DM's Guild, soon if you're interested in seeing that content. Come join us on Patreon for some awesome rewards, including that monthly homebrewed content. Alright, now let's get into it. First, let's cover the goals of this build. We need to get our celestial energy rolling, with a strong focus on healing our allies and driving the enemy team insane. We also need to get a little bit of utility in the form of an AoE silence, and when we slap someone with our star call, we need to leech some health back from them. For race, we have 2 options here technically. You could either go Protector Aasimar for her celestial form, or the Satyr for her fallen form. We're gonna go Satyr since we generally want to show champions as they appear on the Rift. Satyrs gain +2 to Charisma and +1 to Dexterity. Satyrs also have a few abilities that make them harder to deal with magically, giving enemy spellcasters, and by proxy your DM, a big headache. The first is that their creature type is Fey, meaning you're immune to a lot of spells, like Hold Person, which specifically targets humanoids. The other is magical resistance, which is a result of your Fey ancestry and gives advantage on all saves against spells and magic effects. Ram allows Soraka to use her horn to deal 1d4 plus her strength mod and bludgeoning damage as an unarmed strike. Mirthful Leaps allows us to roll a d8 and add it in feet to any long or high jump we make, allowing for some awesome acrobatic plays. Finally, we have Reveler, which lets Soraka play her flute and gives us proficiencies in performance and persuasion. For background, we're going to go with Acolyte. Soraka is an acolyte of the Celestial Way, especially since she's no longer a celestial being herself. Acolytes have proficiencies with Insight and Religion, and the Shelter of the Faithful feature. This allows you to receive help and healing from any religious institution that shares your faith. For stats, like Soraka, we're going to have to find the balance between chaos and the order of the universe with the standard array. Roll if you want to, but keep at least a 13 in Wisdom and Charisma for multiclassing purposes. We're going to start with a 15 in our Charisma because of Soraka's powerful presence and her ability to command respect for her abilities. We'll take Constitution next. Soraka needs to be able to take a hit, and with our class levels, we'll need all the help we can get. Wisdom's up now, which she gained mainly during her time among the Runeterrans. After that, we'll go with Dexterity. Soraka needs to be able to heal her allies quickly, and how can she do that if she's sitting at the bottom of the initiative? Our average stat is going to be our Intelligence because Soraka isn't really a rocket scientist. And finally, we'll dump Strength. For equipment, the only piece we'll need is a quarterstaff, which is oddly shaped like a banana? It's a moon? No, dude, that's totally a banana. Alrighty, let's kick things off with a level in Sorcerer. Sorcerers have a d6 hit die and proficiency with daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and surprisingly, light crossbows. We also get to choose 2 skill proficiencies. We're going to go with Arcana and Intimidation. Intimidation may seem like an odd choice, but that's only because we took the 2 better choices with our race and background. First level sorcerers choose their sorceress origin. We're going to focus on Soraka's celestial status with the divine soul origin. This is going to give us our divine magic, which will give us access to the entire cleric spell list and grant us a spell based on our affinity. Soraka is definitely a good champion, so we'll get Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds is a touch range spell that'll let you heal 1d8 plus your charisma mod. We also pick up Favored by the Gods, which lets us add 2d4 to any missed attack or failed save once per rest. Finally, we get first level spells. The only other spell we'll learn here is Guiding Bolt. You make a ranged spell attack and fire off a blast of divine energy towards a creature. If it hits, it deals 46 radiant damage, and the next attack roll made against that creature has advantage. Second level sorcerers unlock their Font of Magic. This is a pool of sorcery points that will allow us to recharge our spell slots, and next level they'll be able to empower our spells via meta magic. Don't forget that the sorcery point and spell slot conversions are a two-way street. You can convert sorcery points to spells, and vice versa. Level 3 sorcerers learn Meta Magic. Meta Magic is a series of options to enhance our spells at the cost of sorcery points. We get 2 options here, and another one down the line. These can be changed at various points, so make sure to do so as better combos become available. The first we're going to choose is Distance Spell. This allows us to double range of any non-touch spells, and extend our touch range spells to 30 feet. This is going to allow us to use our more powerful Cure Wounds heal at range, rather than using Healing Word, as well as give us the global feeling when we cast our ultimate equivalent spell. The other option we'll take is Subtle Spell, which allows us to spend 1 sorcery point to remove the somatic and verbal component requirements from a spellcast. The reason for taking this will become apparent shortly. We also pick up second level spells here. We're going to pick up our Equinox with Silence and Hold Person. Silence creates a 20-foot sphere that deafens anyone inside, also prevents thunder damage, and the casting of any spells requiring a verbal component. If you want to drop this on yourself, you can continue to cast by using Subtle Spell, which we just learned this level as well. We'll complete the Equinox by using Hold Person on anyone still trapped inside your Silence spell on your next turn. Hold Person allows you to force a Wisdom save on a humanoid. If they fail, they're paralyzed for the duration. 4th level sorcerers unlock the first ability score improvement of the build. We're on the anti-feed hype train apparently with most of our recent builds, but that just means we get to funnel those ASIs right into our stats. So we'll take +2 to our charisma here. Level 5 sorcerers learn 3rd level spells. We'll pick up our W, Astral Infusion here with Life Transference. You take 48 necrotic damage, and 1 creature you can see regains a number of hit points equal to twice the necrotic damage you take. Don't worry though, we'll get a feature later on that helps us regain some of the health we lose when we cast this spell. We'll also pick up our passive Salvation with Haste. Haste doubles our speed, increases our AC by 2, and gives us advantage on dexterity throws. It also grants us a free action that we can use to dash. So if you see a low health ally far away and you need to get to them quick, cast Haste on yourself, dash is your free action, and with 90 movement speed, you should reach them in plenty of time. 6th level Divine Soul sorcerers get Empowered Healing. Whenever you or an ally within 5 feet has to roll to determine the number of hit points a healing spell restores, you can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll any of the die once. So if you see a bunch of 1s and 2s, spend the sorcery point and get them out of there. Level 7 sorcerers learn 4th level spells. Unfortunately, none of the 4th level spells on this list really feel Soraka relevant, so we're gonna move on. By the way, things like this are gonna be a thing of the past in the new format. 8th level sorcerers pick up another ability score improvement. We're gonna max our charisma here with a point, then start beefing up our constitution with a point there as well. Level 9 sorcerers pick up 5th level spells. We're gonna come fully online in this build by picking up our Q and R. Our Q, Starchild, will be the spell Enervation, slightly reflavored. You force a dexterity save on the target as some astral energy flies down at them. If they make the save, they take 2d8 necrotic and the spell ends. If they fail the save, they take 4d8 necrotic and the spell continues. you can use an action on your turns to cause this damage again. The best part of this, half of the damage you deal is returned to you in restored hit points, just like Starchild triggering Rejuvenated. Now this spell is especially broken on sorcerers thanks to meta magic. We can quicken the initial cast of the spell, dealing the damage, then use the action of that turn to deal the damage again. We can also quicken any spells we like to cast on subsequent turns, and use our action to keep the spell ticking away. Or you can use Heighten Spell to reduce the chance of your target making the save in the first place. Lots of great options for this spell. Mass Cure Wounds is going to be our R, Wish. You choose 6 creatures in a 30-foot radius sphere and heal them for 3d8 plus your Charisma mod. Remember, you can distance spell this, so you can double the range to a 60-foot sphere. Well, we grabbed quite a bit from Sorcerer, and the build is definitely fully online at this point. So we're going to take these remaining levels and try and eke out some additional efficiency to our heals, and grind up some sorcery points as well. We'll start off with a few levels in Cleric. Clerics have a d8 hit die and give us proficiencies with light and medium armor, as well as shields. First level Clerics choose their Divine Domain to worship, and we'll go with the Life Domain. This gives us a bonus proficiency with heavy armor and the Disciple of Life feature. Whenever we use a spell that restores hit points to a creature, that creature gains an additional 2 plus the spell's level and hit points. That means we're going to regenerate an additional 7 hit points for each Enervation damage tick. Second level Clerics unlock Channel Divinity. Channel Divinity allows you to choose one of the 2 effects to use once per rest to use some of your deity's energy to empower you. The first option is the one that all Clerics have, which is Turn Undead. You present your holy symbol, the banana, and all undead creatures within 30 feet of you have to make a wisdom save. If they fail, they're turned for a full minute, ending only if they take damage. While turned, they cannot move towards you or take any action other than dashing away from you. The second option is always domain specific, and the life domains is Preserve Life. You present your holy banana, and healing energy is divided among any creatures you choose within 30 feet of you, restoring hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. So now, if you see an ally drop low, you can cast Quicken Haste on yourself, free action dash over to them, and use your action to channel Divinity to top them off. Though it's much simpler to just distance spell Cure Wounds and call it a day. Level 3 Clerics unlock second level spells. We covered these already thanks to the Divine Soul Sorcerer borrowing spells from the Cleric spell list, so we'll move on to the next level. 4th level Clerics gain another ability score improvement. We're going to bump our Constitution 2 points here to keep increasing our health and making our concentration checks easier. Level 5 Clerics empower the Turn Undead Channel Divinity with Destroy Undead. Anytime a 1/2 CR or lower undead creature fails the save associated with Turn Undead, they are instantly destroyed. This is when you send Soraka up to 1v1 Yorick in the top lane. 6th level Clerics gain the Blessed Healer feature. Now, whenever you cast a spell that heals others, you regain healing equal to 2 plus the spell's level. This syncs with our Enervation combo so well. So now, once Enervation is latched onto a target, the following turn you can heal an ally with a Quicken Life Transference as a bonus action, healing back 5 hit points of that damage from Blessed Healer, then trigger the action of Enervation to heal yourself back all that necrotic damage you deal, plus 7 from Disciple of Life. It's a little backwards because normally Soraka Star Calls before using Astral Infusion, but hey, this is pretty dang close. Also, a quick note on our Cleric spell slots. Since our Wisdom is very low in this build, you're going to want to use them entirely through Font of Magic, converting them to sorcery points to be used for either meta magic or to recharge our Sorcerer spell slots. Speaking of sorcerers again, let's head back there to finish up the build and grow our sorcery point pool a bit. 10th level sorcerers unlock another meta magic option. Pick up any of the ones you'd like here. Our pool of desired options for this build are Distant, Subtle, Quickened, Empowered, and Twinned. Level 11 sorcerers learn 6 level spells. We're going to take Heal here. Heal is a pretty straightforward spell that targets one creature, heals it for 70 hit points, and removes any blindness, deafness, or diseases affecting it. The fact that it targets a single creature means it's a strong candidate for Twin Spell. 12th level sorcerers get the final ability score improvement of the build. We're going to round off our odd constitution and dexterity scores with 1 point each to bump the modifiers up a point. Level 13 sorcerers learn 7th level spells. Regenerate is a heal over time spell with some modest healing power, but it shines in its ability to reattach or regrow any severed body parts. taking 2 minutes to regrow them, but if the part is held to the stump it fell from, the spell reconnects them instantly. Pretty cool. Our final level in Sorcerer is going to give us otherworldly wings. As a bonus action, you can generate a pair of eagle wings and gain a flying speed of 30 feet. Now, this isn't related to Soraka at all, but it's pretty sweet and a cool way to cap off the build. Alright, now that we've completed the build, let's see how we did. First, the good. This build is a healing god, having tools for nearly every situation. If someone dies, you either made a massive boo-boo, or your DM is super bitter about you and dropped a Tarask and their 4 siblings on you. We also have the potential to do a staggering amount of damage. Combining the Cleric spell list with meta magic's benefits is insane. Now the bad. Any sort of melee confrontations where you have someone constantly thwacking you and forcing concentration checks is going to be annoying. You also lack any sort of magical utility beyond healing your allies. But you're so strong at keeping your allies alive that as long as you're playing with a well-rounded group, you'll more than make up for your solo focus. So, what'd you think? I've included a link to this build via D&D Beyond in the description below, as well as Amazon links to the books used in this build. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a few awesome rewards, including access to our Discord community and monthly homebrew releases. We plan on churning out one League Champion build every week. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you on the Rift, or in the Forgotten Realms.